DairyNZ has decided not to continue with the GoDairy campaign, and it has shown how hard it is to recruit people into the dairy industry. DairyNZ has put the dairy training initiative on hold until March next year as it reviews the 3-week course and looks at the way it could be improved. Federated Farmers assisted DairyNZ in getting GoDairy up and running, while at the same time launching its own scheme to get more New Zealanders onto farm. We're joined now by Chris Lewis, Dairy Industry Group's Chair for Federated Farmers. Chris, this is a schmozzle.
Yeah, it is a bit frustrating. Back in March, when we started looking at GoDairy, we were seeing big predictions there's going to be unemployment going to 20%. Maybe back in those bad old days in March and April when the New Zealand economy is going to crash and we're all going to be out of work. So we thought, well, let's do a GoDairy campaign and do the honourable thing and get hard-working Kiwis working our farms and keep them off the dole. Well, the opposite's happened. Kiwis didn't get laid off. There's probably been layoffs in the tourism and hospitality, but there's a lot of migrant jobs there. But our hard-working Kiwis are still employed, and it's damn hard to find a good one to work on your farm or work on a boarding site.
But Chris, this seems like you're saying that this is something that was COVID driven. I was actually spending some time with a farm source TFO, and he went dairying for 8 years before his current role, purely because he saw a Go Dairying campaign that long ago, and he was in the hotel industry. Is this something that needs to continue to be there, existing very strongly in the background, and not blame COVID?
Yeah, it's. I remember it was 8 or 9 years ago. They had the Go Dairy campaign and a lot of TV ads, and we promoted agriculture as a great job. And you've seen probably in the last 6 months, there's been a lot of work from DairyNZ and lots of Federated Farmers promoting careers in farming, and it's actually helped with the people with the view what they have of agriculture, and it's changed people's views in towns. And just seeing all those good news stories, and I think it's something we should actually do year in, year out. And I'm pretty passionate about it. So, probably next year, February, March, is the main employment time or employing time for 1st of June. We'll probably see another big push on that. Hopefully we will.
Do you know what really grinds my gears, Chris, is when every single part of our industry individually to try to achieve the same thing without collaborating, not only resources but experience, to come together in one campaign. Why did Federated Farmers go out and do their own when DairyNZ had this underway? Look,
DairyNZ decided to go dairy. We supported them. Federated Farmers is not a training organisation. We're a political advocacy group. So what we did with our one was aimed at employers, and it's just for people who got jobs who came from a COVID-19 situation. And ours was very simple to implement. It was very simple to administrate, but we made it very clear that we'll support DairyNZ. We gave them a good helping hand, but we're not a training organisation. It's not our bread and butter. And so sometimes you got to stick to your strengths and support from behind.
Yes. I hear what you're saying. Are you telling me that DairyNZ are not open to collaborating with the industry on this problem?
Well, no, we collaborated very openly with them, and behind the scenes was Dairy Women's Network and Young Farmers Club were behind the scenes. And actually every week on a Wednesday at 9 a.m, you'll find me on a conference call with those 4 organisations, and we talk about this stuff every week for an hour and about collaboration, who's doing what are we hearing, and it's driven by everyone. So behind the scenes, a lot of collaboration, but just at GoDairy, it was DairyNZ to lead, and we supported them on doing that because they were the right organisation to lead it from our perspective.
What in your mind do you believe a review and coming back in March around the 3-week course needs re-looked at, and what do you believe are those fundamental problems around attracting people into the industry?
Yeah, the fundamental problems of attracting is obviously the hours and obviously the days off, of course, and also pay, So in the last 5 years, even seems like myself, we've moved to a modern 6-on-2 off roster or 5-on-2 off roster. My staff get about 120 days off a year. Pay's increased a lot. And I think when the next Federated Farmers remuneration survey goes out, my gut feel is pay's gone up a lot in the last 6 months in agriculture, just to attract people. But it's not everything. a lot of employers are actually, a lot of us have actually got to become better employers and learn how to around people skills and how to interact with the younger generation. And it's something that doesn't come natural to all of us. Sometimes we're a bit gruff, sometimes we're a bit tired, or a bit, we're not always at 5 o'clock in the morning that pleasant. So it's something for all of us to work on to be better employers. And if a lot of us work hard on being better employers, the relationship with the employee will be a lot better. And it's something I've worked on a lot in the last 5 years. And the average person who works on our farm stays here from anywhere from 2 to 5 years. Has been the average length of service on our farm for the last 10 years. But getting back to your question around GoDairy, what does it need improving on? Hey, they've learnt a lot when they did this. And it's nothing like actually testing the market and working out where you've gone right and gone wrong and getting all that feedback and sitting down and thinking, how do we make this better? And this is the challenge for the next few months, is to pull it apart, look what worked well, what didn't work well, and putting a 2.0 model on board for next year. And that's a challenge. We have to do better. We need to attract better people, but we need employers to be attractive as well. So it's like any marriage, you got to put a bit of work into it, don't you? And so I've heard.
Oh, well, I'm not going to ask from who, Chris, but no, great analogy, absolutely. Hey, let's pivot to the conversation I had with Roger Parton. Things are bloody serious. There's no other way about it in terms of the serious gaps in the contracting workforce that is leading to consequences of animal welfare with feed shortages and getting those crops. If we have a dry summer and then, of course, leading into winter with baleage, what more can you do to smash on the door of Farfoys?
Look, we've had quite a few conversations with him. He's a good person to deal with. He's quite pragmatic. But on the other hand, the government's got this issue around keeping COVID-19 out of the country, which is very, very important. And I think over the last few months, done a really good job with their quarantine hotels. They've managed to stop it in the quarantine if it's come into the country. They've tested and tested. And I think they should have a fair bit of confidence that they can run this thing pretty well now. And if they got the confidence now, why can't they upscale it? And there's plenty of hotels around here running empty. And there's plenty of people who can work in security, like obviously the Army's doing it now, but I see no reason why they can't do it. And the other thing I'd like to do is a shout out to Telford. They've done a lot around training for young people, especially tractor driving. They've had some good success on that. So we need more of the Telfords, more of those micro-credential type training happening around all the country. It should be happening in the Waikato, in the Manawatu. It should be a regionalised thing. And hey, there are hardworking Kiwis who want to get into farming, but we need to have the world-class training where it's local and there's no barriers to getting to it.
Mm-hmm. Now, Chris, I'm sure that you would have ventured down to your fellow former president Katie Milne's place and her tenure at Federated Farmers and enjoyed the hospitality of the West Coast. Did you get to do a bit of exploring, and what were some of your favourite memories of the coast?
Yeah, the last time I went there, Katie wasn't home. She was in Wellington, but we
Does she know this?
She might not know this, actually. I think she did, actually. But we went and saw Renee Rooney and around Lake Brunner, and a few Feds people elected who live around Lake Brunner. What an amazing place. And it is beautiful. And Katie also showed me videos and photographs of it all the time. But when you see it in the flesh, it is outstanding. So I plan to come back again for another roadie of the West Coast, but bring my family and spend a few days there. And of course, being in the Lake Brunner pub with Katie would be the highlight.
Oh, lovely. And actually, I need to give a bit of a shout out because Katie Milne is joining Anika Moa on Thursday night. I can't wait to be there. It's called Real Woman Talk. Could you imagine that, Chris? It's replacing the old ladies' night of farmlands, and it's going to be an absolute hoot. And I know there's quite a great lineup of, let's say, shoot from the hip type females in the agriculture sector. So it's going to be fantastic. Hey, thank you so much, Chris. Keep up the good fight on behalf of rural New Zealand. You're doing an absolutely fantastic job. Chris Lewis, not only dairy chair, but also, of course, employment spokesperson there for Federated Farmers.
This is Sarah's Country.